This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 19th day of June in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Backed by members of civil society, the opposition today protested the office of the embattled Minister of Local Government, Nigel Darmlal, demanding his removal from office and an impartial investigation into the allegations that he raped and sodomized a 16-year-old girl. With effect from today, the minister proceeded on leave to allow for a probe into the allegations. But women's rights activist and politician Simona Brooms, who was among the many women on the protest line today, demanded his full removal from office.
Darmlal is an embarrassment. The allegation alone that is leveled against Darmlal warrants him to do the right thing and resign and leave public office. Nowhere in the world in the Caribbean such allegation will be leveled against any sitting minister of government, and one with responsibility for communities where you're dealing with these indigenous girls and women at large, and you're still sitting down in an office.
Brooms, a former minister of government under the APNU-AFC administration, also condemned the government for being reactive and not proactive in responding to the cries of the victim. Leader of the Alliance for a Change, Kemraj Ramjatan, while calling on the Guyana police force to conduct a fair and impartial investigation, said Mr. Darmlal should be dismissed, both as a minister and a member of parliament.
Of course, the minister is in serious hot water here. He's in royal trouble. But I would like to see that justice is done, and I feel that justice will be done. He should be immediately be dismissed as a minister and as a parliamentarian. It is not as if we are saying that he got a presumption of innocence, because that is for his criminal trial. At this stage, at the political level, such a fella with these serious allegations and all the attempts he made, he should ensure that he step out of these two institutions, cabinet and the parliament.
Meanwhile, opposition member of parliament Roy Zilford also called for the local government minister to be stripped of his titles given the mounting of allegations leveled against him. He said the move by the president to send the embattled minister on administrative leave based on a request by the minister is not enough.
We believe that this is a fitting case for Mr. Darmlal to have been dismissed at this point. This is not simply about this allegation. This is about a series of allegations going back over 10 years.
And declaring that Guyanese have no confidence in the Guyana police force to conduct a fair investigation, Mr. Ford called on the matter to be investigated by overseas investigators.
We all live in Guyana. We know that at times the Guyana police force does not meet our expectations. I believe that this is a fitting case where the president must immediately institute an appointment by someone or a team of investigators who don't reside in Guyana. We could bring in the Scotland Yard or some proper agency that will conduct a fair investigation. The Guyanese people don't have any confidence that the Guyana police force will be able to conduct a fair investigation.
MP Gita Chandan Edmond, who was among a number of female MPs who stood on the protest line today, demanded justice also.
We are here to stand in solidarity with the victim and other victims, because the information we're receiving, it's not just a single victim, but more than one victim. So we are here to stand in support of the victims. And we trust that the investigation will be a fair, unbiased and free one that will be free from any sort of undue influence. And that is extremely necessary here, that the investigation is impartial, and I trust that will happen. Indigenous leader Hubert Wong said the situation is disheartening.
First of all, I'm a man, and as a man, I am disgusted and appalled by the behavior of another man. Secondly, I am a father and a grandfather. And when I think about the very distinct and clear possibility that this could happen to the women in my family, I had no choice but to come out.
The Minister of Local Government, Nigel Darmlal, has since hired the services of the Hughes, Fields and Stobie law firm and has denied the allegations leveled against him by the schoolgirl. Meanwhile, the schoolgirl has since provided statements to the Child Care and Protection Agency and an organization involved in the rights of children. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Oh my lord. I just love to shop in this store. My customers, them gonna love all these things. So many different things in one place. Household items, electronics, toys, stationery, confectionery, exercise equipment, shoes and clothes for men, women and children, school things, costume, jewelry, perfume, makeup. Oh, look the makeup.
Giftland Office Max, Guyana's favorite department store.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors that me crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
Sorry.
Jack?
Hey.
Boys, where you going with all that speed?
Yo, today's the 15th. My NIS contributions are due, and I ain't even get the forms as yet.
Hold on. You mean to tell me that you're not aware that all self-employed persons can now make their NIS contributions using the MMG app from the comforts of their homes and offices?
Really? I just pay my bills using MMG,
Yes, Jack. And the thing's simple. All you have to do is open the app, select Pay Bills, Government Services, NIS, and Pay. They will prompt you to enter your NIS number, the month you're paying for, and the amount.
So I don't need to submit any form?
No. The only time you submit in a form is when you're making a claim.
Wait. I could make a claim too?
Oh, no, man. Jack. You didn't know that? Yes. All self-employed persons are entitled to all benefits from NIS. Well, except for the industrial benefits. And here's the good part. All of their forms, you can download them from the NIS website.
Well, girl, I'm really glad I bumped into you.
Anyhow, make sure you pay your bills later.
Later? I gotta sit down right here and pay my contributions first.
Take care.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
Strong and solid in countries far and wide. New India Assurance, we're standing by your side. Golden service, half a century and more. New India Assurance, our policies are secure. From the heart of India, we serve these islands. The strength that you can trust, you're safe when you come to us.
New India Assurance Company. Assurance when you need it most.
For your home, motor or business insurance, visit New India Guyana office, 58 Brickdam next to Star Computers. Telephone 226-0415-7. Comfortable parking available.
Appalled and disgusted at the allegations of sexual assault and grooming of a child leveled against the Minister of Local Government, the Amerindian People's Association today called on President Irfanali to ensure that an independent investigation is conducted into the very serious allegations against his minister, Nigel Daramlalo. The APA said the government is duty-bound to protect all the children of Guyana, and it would be a slap in the face of that duty if an impartial probe is not done. In commending the schoolgirl for her bravery in making the allegations known, the APA said it stands ready to provide support to ensure she processes and heals from the most traumatic experience of her young life. The organization said it wishes to state that the issue of alleged sexual abuse of indigenous women and girls by persons in positions of power is not new, although the lengths alleged perpetrators go to not have these horrific stories meet the stage of investigations is also known. According to the association, attention must be paid to why stories are heard and become somewhat public, then are quickly negated by the alleged victim, leaving no space for investigations to take place. According to the organization, this is the time for attention to be given to similar reports involving both boys and girls as that allegedly carried out on the child by Minister Daramalal. The APA is not pleased that the president failed to act sooner on the allegations and allowed the minister to request leave rather than to act earlier. The APA reminded President Irfaan Ali that Guyana is a signatory to the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and as president, his actions should be fashioned to protect the victim as a citizen of the country and who is a school-aged child and not his minister. The Amerindian People's Association also issued a call on the Minister of Amerindian Affairs, Pauline Sukai, to condemn the alleged behavior of her cabinet colleague. The association urged Sukai to step up and speak out for the rights of the abused indigenous children and advocated for criminal proceedings to be filed against Minister Daramalal. The APA also believes the National Tushaus Council needs to condemn the allegations against Minister Daramalal and advocate for an independent probe. Meanwhile, the association also reminded members of the public that it is against the law to name or identify a victim of sexual abuse. After bashing the PNC-led A Partnership for National Unity for more than 35 minutes this afternoon on the 94.1 FM afternoon lockdown program, PPP General Secretary Vice President Bara Jagdeo extended an olive branch to his political opponents in the PNC reform, saying that his party, the PPP, believes that more development can go to citizens if the two major parties work together. Mr. Jagdeo said the PPP has settled old scores and is now open for positive discussions. The invitation by the Vice President to work with the opposition party is a rare move, as his party has repeatedly refused to meet with the PNC reform on a number of important issues when requested.
We are hoping still that in future there would always be an engagement with the PNC. As you said, we saw whatever is proven, whatever is said now, we've already proven a point that not because we're special and we don't want to be arrogant, but because of our policies and track record, that we're the only multi-ethnic party in this country. And we have proven that. And therefore, we want to work with everyone. We want to have a positive engagement with the PNC in the future.
During the radio interview that went on for more than an hour commercial-free, the Vice President hammered the former APNU-AFC government over its handling of the economy, particularly its management of the oil and gas sector. But he said Guyana is on a different path right now that needs all hands on board.
But if they keep spreading these lies, then we have to work directly with people. We have to work in every community to debunk the lies, etc. It would be greater if we're all pulling together. In the 50s, there was one party, and we're working together. But now, every day when I see these outrageous things being said and done, then it makes it even more remote now to get any engagement.
A number of long-standing members of the PNC reform switched to the PPP just before the local government elections. At an earlier press conference, Mr. Jagdeo said that he is confident that the 2025 elections will see other members from the PNC reform crossing the floor to his party. Although the PPP campaigned heavily during the last local government elections in Georgetown, Linden, and New Amsterdam, it still lost those three main towns, but picked up additional votes when compared to the last local government polls. An attempt by the opposition to invalidate the passage of the Natural Resource Fund bill over the absence of the Mace in the National Assembly failed today, with High Court Judge Navindra Singh ruling that the presence, absence, or use of the mace in the National Assembly is not provided for in the Constitution or laws of Guyana. In his judgment, Justice Singh said it is clear from the evidence that a mace is nothing more than a relic intended only to be a symbolic representation in the National Assembly. He said it is illogical to believe that the presence or absence of a length of metal can determine the legitimacy of acts done by persons elected by the citizens of the country, pursuant to their elected duties. It was the opposition members who, in an attempt to block the passage of the Natural Resource Fund Bill in the National Assembly, uprooted the mace from the parliamentary chambers back in December of 2021. The bill was nonetheless passed with the Speaker Manzoor Nadir resorting to the use of a replica of the official mace. It was against that background that the opposition, through its chief whip Christopher Jones, moved to the court together with trade unionist Norris Witter to challenge the bill's passage. On the corridors of the High Court today, the opposition's lead attorney, Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford, said he was disappointed with the ruling.
We are, in fact, quite disappointed with the judge's ruling. As you know, we have not had a chance to hear the reasons, but we've just given a copy of the judgment. But this case deals with a number of very important constitutional issues.
But Attorney General Anil Nandlal told reporters that the ruling comes as no surprise. He said the records would show that the opposition, in opposing the Natural Resource Fund Bill, broke the mace.
So they came here and they asked the court essentially to confirm their vulgarity. Now, of course, they didn't advance much legal arguments because hardly there exists any. The court rejected all their arguments and upheld our submissions. Firstly, mace or absence of mace has nothing to do with the legislative power of the parliament to make laws. Parliament is driven by the elected officials who are there, elected by the people, and is governed by the Constitution.
Justice Singh in his ruling also considered several other issues, including that of consultation with stakeholders by the National Assembly before legislation is passed and enacted. After closely examining the Constitution, the High Court judge found that the Constitution does not require or mandate the Assembly to engage in consultation with stakeholders before enacting legislation. Weighing in on this aspect of the ruling, the Attorney General said though the issue was brought to the fore by the opposition, it was a non-issue, since according to him, the people were consulted.
We contended that yes, there was consultation, widespread consultation, in the form of the time that we spent with the opposition, 5 years. Then our manifesto, which was widely distributed and discussed across the country, elements of the Natural Resource Fund Bill are contained in our manifesto, and we read that evidence before the court. But most importantly, on the floor, where there is the debate provided for, that constitutes consultation too. But they did not take the opportunity to debate.
The court also found that the Speaker did not deny any member of the opposition the opportunity to participate in the debate on the Natural Resource Fund Bill. Dissatisfied with the ruling, the opposition is now contemplating its next move.
So okay na, champ. I passed here last week and this shop lock up tight.
Why? We come down with the flow, so we have to take a couple days.
I can't deal with them kind of setbacks, man. Now. I just get a headache when you see I can't make me little bread.
I know them ways, champ. But thank God for NIS.
NIS? What you got to do now with NIS?
I mean, what I gotta do in NIS? I register as self-employed and I make monthly contributions to NIS. So you see, for them days I lose, NIS pay me back for most of them days.
Wow, that is good. You know, I always used to believe that it's only people in big offices and so they pay NIS.
Nah man, NIS for any working person between the ages of 16 to 60. And as self-employed, you get all the benefit as an employee, except for industrial benefits.
So what I do for set up this thing?
All I gotta do is visit NIS on Breakdown, or if you live in out of town, you can visit any NIS closest to your location. And once you register and your registration complete, you can start making NIS contributions.
Alright, so what I walk with and like how much money I gotta pay a month?
I ain't gotta walk with no big money. All I gotta walk with is your birth certificate and any farm ID. And when you reach down there, ask for the compliance department.
Good. Thanks for the information, bro. As soon as I left here, I went straight to the NIS office.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
While the dust from last Monday's local government elections is settling, President Irfanali is assuring communities and townships that his party lost, that they will experience similar development like the areas his party emerged victorious. The president explained that his party went into the local polls with a plan of action, and that plan will be carried out. He made those remarks during his address to celebrate the Enmore martyrs.
And to those Guyanese and to every Guyanese, notwithstanding that all the areas that you were hoping to win, we did not win. Every single plan that we had, we will work with you in implementing to advance the life of the communities.
According to the president, persons who supported the People's Progressive Party, especially those who went out and voted for his party's ideas for the first time, inspired a lot of confidence within his party for fast-paced development in every area. He said those who crossed the floor to join his party must not be disheartened by the negative comments which continue to follow them.
We have to work harder and stronger now, and work harder and stronger to let those persons know that they supported a system, a political system that will stand true to its commitment, that would stand true to its promises. But more importantly, to prove to those who may have made another decision, not on ideas and vision, to prove to them that what we are about is the development of communities and development of our country.
Mr. Ali said in the coming days he will be meeting with persons from various sections of the society to discuss ideas and ways to move the country forward.
And in these local government elections, it was proven to us that the country is maturing onto a platform of the politics of ideas and the politics of vision. And for me, that is the greatest win. It is not only the tremendous inroads that the People's Progressive Party made in what they term non-traditional areas. I hate that term, by the way. I think all of Guyana must be traditional area for all of Guyana. That is how it should be. So the fact that that we have been able to cross these boundaries, I think speak well about the future.
The president has promised to establish several structures to advance the country's development, which includes his One Guyana Commission. A second suspect in the murder of Guyana Defense Force Coast Guard officer Lieutenant Coast Guard Rondell Douglas was charged and remanded to jail this afternoon. Appearing before Acting Chief Magistrate Shuttle Isaacs Marcus, 37-year-old murder accused Randy Wright was not required to enter a plea to the indictable charge. He was remanded to jail until the 14th of July, when the murder case will continue. Wright was arrested last week as the police investigators widened their probe into the 7th of June gunning down of the GDF officer in North Ruimveldt. Last week, another suspect, Joshua Paris, was charged in connection with the same murder. He was also remanded to jail until his next court appearance in July. Meanwhile, the Guyana Police Force has indicated that a third suspect remains on the run. A wanted bulletin was issued for that suspect, Jamie Ghani, over a week ago. The police investigators are asking anyone with information on his whereabouts to contact the nearest police station or call 911. The GDF Coast Guard officer was shot dead as he attempted to fight off two men as they robbed him of his car. At the time, he was providing late-night taxi duties. He was reportedly targeted randomly for his car. The GDF Lieutenant Coast Guard Rondell Douglas was laid to rest today. Police investigators are probing a Saturday night accident that has left a 25-year-old motorcyclist dead. The dead motorcyclist has been identified as Oliver Collins. The young man from Friendship on the east coast of Demerara was riding his motorcycle along the Friendship Embankment Road when he was hit down by a car that crossed over into his lane. The 22-year-old driver of that car was found to be heavily intoxicated. A breathalyzer test conducted on the car driver revealed the level of alcohol in his system to be extremely high. When the car slammed into the motorcyclist, it pitched him onto the roadway, resulting in multiple injuries to his head and body. He was taken to the Georgetown Hospital where he died while undergoing treatment. The drunk car driver will face charges this week.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor at the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Look who's in the mix now. The new Buster Soda Water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 artificial flavors. 100% refreshing. Taste Buster Soda Water today. Buster Soda Water. Now available for only $120.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tuna. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tuna. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Svetlana Marshall. In the region, the third tropical depression of the 2023 hurricane season has formed in the central tropical Atlantic and is expected to become a hurricane in a few days, the U.S. National Hurricane Center said today. The depression, about 1,425 miles east of the southern Windward Islands, is packing maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, the Miami-based forecaster said. The depression is forecast to strengthen and move across the Lesser Antilles as a hurricane on Thursday and Friday, bringing a risk of flooding from heavy rainfall, hurricane-force winds, and dangerous storm surge and waves, the Hurricane Center said. While it was too early to specify the location and magnitude of where those hazards could occur, the center urged authorities in the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands to closely monitor the system and have hurricane plans in place. If the depression becomes a hurricane, it would be the first one of the 2023 season, which lasts from June through November. The United States Coast Guard says it has seized cocaine worth more than $186 million during operations in the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. In a statement, the Coast Guard said that more than 14,153 pounds of cocaine had been offloaded last Friday following 9 separate interdictions in international waters. It did not specify the period when these interdictions were carried out. Along with the illicit narcotics, the U.S. Coast Guard said 12 suspected smugglers were apprehended and faced prosecution in federal courts by the U.S. Department of Justice. The U.S. Coast Guard said the Joint Interagency Task Force South in Key West, Florida, conducts the detection and monitoring of aerial and maritime transit of illegal drugs. And finally tonight, international news. China and the United States agreed on Monday to stabilize their intense rivalry so it doesn't veer into conflict, but failed to produce any major breakthrough during a rare visit to Beijing by U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Chinese President Xi Jinping welcomed progress after shaking hands with Blinken at the Great Hall of the People, a grand venue usually reserved for greeting heads of state. The top U.S. diplomat and the Chinese president both stressed the importance of having a more stable relationship, as any conflict between the world's two largest economies could create global disruption. However, China refused to entertain Washington's bid to resume military-to-military communication channels and cited U.S. sanctions as the obstacle. The two sides appeared entrenched in their positions over everything from Taiwan to trade, including U.S. actions towards China's chip industry, human rights, and Russia's war against Ukraine. The White House called the meeting a good step forward. Blinken's overarching message was to emphasize the importance of maintaining open channels of communications to reduce risks. At one of the most significant U.S.-China exchanges since President Joe Biden took office, it was not clear how they would overcome their differences, but they agreed to continue their diplomatic engagements with more visits in the coming weeks and months.
And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.